positive or negative, more so as you look at this situation as how can I either grow from it or turn this into, my favor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, other than that, it's just crazy to be dealing with. I just had to email you. I had to email you. I had to email you.
How the boys doing?
Man, they doing better, man. They doing much better. Much
Wonderful.
better. Still transitioning, but it's a process.
Man, that's what parents are for, right?
Yeah.
That's the job. That's the job. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. Yeah, that's actually what we're going to be kind of talking about today is favor and things like that, right? Um, so it's perfect, perfect, perfect. Yes, perfect, perfect. Yeah, how's everyone else doing this Saturday?
We're doing awesome. Good morning, Coach Lucky.
Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
Yep.
parenting right now. This is parenting.
That's it. Yes, that's it. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Mhm. In a couple more minutes, we'll get started. Anyone have any questions, comments, or anything about anything before we get going? I always have I always have things discussed, always things locked and loaded, but I really enjoy making sure people have the information that they may be currently looking for or whatever. That's the most important thing, not to just get a whole bunch of information, but to get relevant, pertinent information, for any area of life.
Lucky, you could change your view to gallery so you could see everyone.
Okay.
On the top corner, go to your view.
Yeah.
And change it to gallery.
Perfect. Yes, we are going to read a story. Going to start off with a story again today. kind of like, kind of on the not on the maybe exact road, but on the kind of in the direction that Marlon was talking about. Um, we're going to be talking about favor today and talking about things that may look a certain way or appear a certain way. So we're going to start off with a story. So just kind of put your hand up if you're available to read, because we're going to start with that, and then we're going to go into what we're talking about. So just kind of put your hand up if you're available to read, and then we'll start with that in a couple about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. So yeah, anytime you come early before 7, if you have any questions or anything like that, now is or almost was the time, but it's good.
No, just piggybacking off of Marlon, it's amazing. Perspective is everything, right? And if you give something a meaning, then that's just what it is.
Mhm. Well, yeah, and why is that?
Because I am a creator, so whatever I say is going to be.
So then, who is perceiving? right? So then, what is perspective actually?
It's my thoughts, my mind, like where I am right now.
It is what you're telling yourself because of who you're being.
Mm.
Right? We're always telling ourselves things mean something because of who we're being. So what we're telling ourselves things mean, why that's so important is because it's a reflection. It lets us know who we're being.
Mm.
Only who we're being can say that. Only who we're being will see it like that. Right? So that is why it's so important what you're saying, because it's not the words, what you're perceiving. It's not what you're perceiving that makes it so important. It's who is perceiving that makes it so important. Who are you being to see it that way, good or bad? There is no good or bad. You're just seeing things as you are, right? So what we are perceiving is because of only what perception is based on the perceiver. Perceiver is based on the beer, right? So who we're being perceives, and how we perceive things is based on who we're being. What we're telling ourselves things mean is based because of who we're already being before the thing happened, right? So if you walk out and you see it's raining and you say, oh, it's raining, well, it was already raining, right? But you're perceiving it because you're alive. You're perceiving it because you can see it. Everything is what's happening. You call it based on, who you're being. So we'll talk about it today. So it's perfect. All right, here we go. So Sarita has her hand raised. So anybody else who wants to read, let me, put your hand up so we can call on you. And because we're going to start off with a story that I'm going to share really quickly, and then we'll get off into it. All right, this is a perfect example, perfect example of what happens based on perception. So Sarita, go for it.
Okay, one day a costume designer described to me her difficulties in working with a prominent theatrical producer. She was convinced that he unjustly criticized and rejected her best work, and that often he was deliberately rude and unfair to her. Upon hearing her story, I explained that if she found the other Upon hearing her story, I explained that if she found the other rude and unfair, if she found the other rude and unfair, it was a sure sign that she herself was wanting, and that it was not the producer, but herself that was in need of a new attitude. I told her that the power of this law of assumption and its practical application could be discovered only through experience, and that only by assuming that the situation was already what she wanted it to be. She she proved that she could bring about the change desire. Her employer was merely bearing witness, telling her by his behavior what her concept of him was. I suggested that it was quite probable that she was carrying on conversations with him in her mind, which she were filled with criticism and recrimination. There was no doubt but that she was mentally arguing with the producer, for others only echo that which we whispered to them in secret. I asked her if it was not true that she talked to him mentally, and if so, what those conversations were like. She
Perfect.
confessed that okay.
Perfect. All right, Alexis. I believe she had her hand up as well.
Where do I start?
Right here, right there on the screen.
She confessed that every morning on her way to the theater, she told him just what she thought of him in a way she would never have dared address him in person. The intensity and force of her mental arguments with him automatically establishes behavior towards her. She began to realize that all of us carry on mental conversations, but unfortunately, on most occasions, these conversations are argumentative, that we have only to observe the passerby on the street to prove this assertion, that so many people are mentally engrossed in conversation and few appear to be happy about it, but the very intensity of their feeling must be led them quickly to the unpleasant incident they themselves have mentally created and therefore must now encounter. When she realized she had been doing what she had been doing, she agreed to change her attitude and to live this law faithfully by assuming that her job was highly satisfactory and her relationship with the producer was a very happy one. To do this, she agreed that before going to sleep at night, on her way to work, and at other intervals during the day, she would imagine that he had congratulated her on her fine designs, and she in turn had thanked him for his praise and kindness. To her great delight, she soon discovered for herself that her own attitude was the cause of all that befell her. The behavior of her employer miraculously reversed itself, his attitude echoing, as it had always done, that which she had assumed, now reflected her changed concept of him. What she did was, by the power of her imagination, her persistent. One second. I'm sorry, I need to pause reading.
No worries. Okay. Her persistent assumption influenced his behavior and determined his attitude toward her. Right? So so let me go down here where it says thus. Thus, we see it is not facts. It's not the thing that you're looking at right now. What you think you're looking at right now can be changed, but we assume it's a fact. So it can't be changed because we have labeled it as a fact. So thus we see it's not facts, but that it's not facts, but that which we create in our imagination, which shapes our lives. For most of the conflicts of the day are due to the want of a little imagination to cast the beam out of our own eye. It is the exact and literal minded who live in a fictitious world. As this designer, by her controlled imagination, started the subtle change in her employer's mind, so can we, by the control of our own imagination and wisely directed feeling, solve our problems, right? By the intensity of her imagination and feeling, the designer cast a kind of enchantment on her producer's mind and caused him to think that his generous praise originated with him. Often our most elaborate and original thoughts are determined by another. So let me back up. So what did we get from that so far?
I need to imagine something before I expect to see it. I need to replay that desired outcome in my mind first and live in that space.
That is pretty good. I'm going to say it this way. What you said is pretty good. I'm going to say it this way. That is a B answer. What would an A answer be?
That those conversations and conflicts came from her originally, from where she was. So whatever she had already conversed in her mind about how her producer was going to treat her, that's exactly how it was going to be. So whatever back and forth she was having with him mentally is what actually appeared.
That is an A answer. What's an A plus answer?
Change your mind, change your life.
Yes, that is an A answer. What's an A plus answer? You know, they say there's levels to it, right? So we're rising up. We're rising up the levels. What Sparkle Bailey first said was right. What Sarita added on to it was right and more right. And what Monique just said was right and more right and right as well. But there's one, now we're going for the star, let's say, on top of the Christmas tree, right? We're going for the top. What's on top? That's correct. Everything you guys said is correct so far.
Awareness?
Awareness of what?
My authority, my
Awareness of being.
Okay. Awareness of being what?
the creator.
Okay. Awareness of being the creator. Awareness of being the creator. What?
All things.
Okay. Okay.
Of what she wanted, of what she desired, that her desired outcome.
Okay. Where you at? But I'm saying it this way. We're still missing something. We're missing the last part of it. Because we said awareness, yeah, but we didn't. But we're still missing it. We're still missing the last part.
Her mindset was set a certain type of way.
Okay.
So,
But yes, that's correct. But you already said that just in a different way.
Okay.
What it's still higher than that. That's right. You're right, but it's still higher than that. So we got the tree, we done decorated everything, but the top, we're still missing the top part. So what Sarita said the first time of like whatever she told herself about the producer was how she's going to be treated. And then everybody said awareness. Yeah, but where the part we're missing is when.
Now, immediately.
Now, immediately,
prior to.
prior to,
Whenever you say so, whenever you decide.
no. It is always.
Mm.
This is not something you apply. This is something that you're applying, whether you're consciously applying it or unconsciously applying. It's like breathing. When do you breathe? Well, I breathe when I feel like I got something to do. Is that true? You breathe whether you have something to do or not, right? You breathe whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, right? You breathe whether you're asleep or awake, so to speak, right? My point is, on top of it, on the top of the tree, on the top of all of the knowledge and wisdom that all of you said, on top of that is, this is happening whether you know it or not, like it or not, believe it or not, aware or not, sleep, awake, good, bad, right, wrong, person, dog, cat, job, health, money. This is happening involuntarily, meaning it is happening no matter what it's about or when. There is no when or what. It's always. Always. That's the top of the tree. This is not something that's happening when you remember it. This is not something that's happening when you think you want something good now. This is not happening when you're trying to change your mind. This is happening whether you change your mind or not. Right? What's on top of the tree is that this is always happening. You're always assuming it. Like Sarita said, everything Sarita said and that clip of what she said, as far as what she thought of herself was going to happen and what she thought, you're doing that with everything and everyone. You're doing that every day with everything and everyone. What Neville called assuming ahead of your evidence. You're always assuming you're always imagining before you create, because imagining is creation. Everything you see in the physical world was first a thought. So you're always thinking before the physical comes. So the physical argument with that person, the physical dislike or distaste of that person, that's physical, which means it came second. So there has to be something that comes first. And first is always the idea and the concepts that you hold first and foremost about yourself. And the ones you hold first and foremost about yourself, you then use what you hold about yourself to define and determine what your relationship is with something or anything or anyone outside of you. Your body, your boss, your spouse, your friends, your money, all of those things are a physical reflection of how you first think about yourself. Because those things are not creative, they're created. They are things that you're using to express who you're aware of being as or in or with. Like your car is not creative, it's created. So you are using yourself, you're using your car to express where you want to go. It doesn't have a choice. It just goes where you take it. If it doesn't work, you're like, oh, something's wrong with it. But who has to fix it? You do. You have to fix your relationship like you have to fix your car. You have to take it to the shop. You have to get it fixed. Just like you fixed a car physically, you have to fix yourself mentally, meaning you have to change something. You have to change who you're being, who you're perceiving yourself to be. That's why you're having that relationship with that thing. Right? So what does she say? And I see you, Alexis, right? She said, right? She said she was having difficulty working with her theater. She was convinced. See, when I say things on here, people think like, well, he just doesn't understand. No, I do understand. You're just convinced that what you believe is true, but it's only true because you believe it to be true. You make all things true through your belief. That's why it says, according to your faith, be it unto you. Right? All these things. So she really believed it. She believes so, but what did he say? I explained that if she found the other rude and unfair, it was a sure sign that she herself was wanting and that it was not the producer. That what you think is something is not the thing. It's not that thing. It's you. Now you can blame that thing and feel better for a couple minutes, but your situation won't be better. And most people, the unenlightened, the unillumined, the people who don't know better will agree with you and be like, oh yeah, girl. Oh yeah, bro. He's a hater. Yeah, he's a this or that. Yeah, cool. So now you feel better, but you're in the same spot. And so you feel better about calling the people who'll agree with you, but you don't like calling the people who will help you. Who's like, yeah, girl, I understand what you're saying, but it's not correct. Upon hearing the story, I explained that if she found the other rude and unfair, it was a sure sign. I'm not guessing, I'm not hoping. It's a sure sign that she herself was wanting and that it was not the producer, but herself that was in need of a new attitude. So Sarita calls me and I call Sarita. I'm like, yeah, Sarita, man, these people on here is haters. They must be drinking haterade. And the whole thing that we tell ourselves and thinking we're just doing it real big with our little aphorisms and thinking we're just so cute with our game and our lingo, right? And all the other stuff. And yeah, they just don't understand me and they just don't like me, right? If Sarita is able to tell me what she said, then now I can change. I can actually change my situation. If Sarita just agrees with me, be like, yeah, girl, I understand because these out here, then now we both. Then we're both going to remain as we are. But the problem with that is I got to go to work on Monday. So I'm about to walk right back into the lion's den because I don't know how to change myself and I don't have anyone around me who knows how to do it. But they know how to agree with me. Hey, you want to go out to eat? You want to go get a drink? You want me to get you a massage? No, I want you to help me learn how to think properly. Get some friends that'll help you do that. Who will tell you, hey man, I understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, but that's not correct. That's not correct. But those are not the friends we want to call first. We gotta gossip about it first. We gotta cry and whine about it first. We gotta blow up. Okay, well, the longer you do that, the longer it's gonna stay. Right? So somebody has to say, no, it's not you. Surely it's not you. It's not them. It's you. You're in need of a new attitude. Only through experience, by assuming that situation was already what you want it to be, is the only way that you can change it. You have to start telling yourself a different story. We have to get better at that, but which we'll go into it in a minute. All right, Alexis, question, or you raised your hand.
I just raised my hand to be available to read again.
Okay, all right. Right, so going through this story, right, it's saying her employer was merely bearing witness, telling her by his behavior. Your employer, the person that you're thinking about, your money or your health or your relationship or your job, they're merely bearing witness. They are telling you by their behavior what your concept of that thing is. Your money's telling you what your concept of money is. But your concept of money is your concept. So then your concept of money is a concept of self. You're broke because you're broke. You're check to check because you are check to check. There's no division between the two. There's no separation between the two. The things that you're talking about are the physical reflections of who you be or who you're being or who you have been up until this moment. Now they are fixable, they are changeable, but because they're right here in our face, we think they're not. We call them fact. So we just say we're telling the truth. We just say we're keeping it real. We just say we're being realistic. We just say, but only, as I said earlier, the unillumined, the uninitiated, the ignorant, the unaware think that, say that. Because they act like it's cement, like it's over. That's all it can be. Well, if that's the case, then why are you complaining about it? If it's flu season, then why are you taking medicine? Just take the flu, lay down, and just wait for it to take its course. If it's inevitable, what are we praying for? If this is just the way it is, why are we fighting it? Do you see anybody yelling at gravity? Right? If it is what it is. So you either learn to get with it or you get rolled over. It's the same thing in every area of life. You either learn how to think or you get rolled over because you don't, but you still are thinking. That's what I'm telling you the star on the top of the tree is. That's what I'm telling you the A+ answer is. You're always doing these things. There's no time you are and time you're not. There's no off. This is not a job. There's no off hours. There's no vacation time. This is a lifestyle. This is a style of living. And the style of living is not some kind of weird, eccentric, up in the mountains with some incense and a yoga robe on. This is not that. This is not like a weird thing. This is consciousness. It means you're living life on purpose. You're living life, like Latoya in the group used to always say, on purpose. You're living life on purpose. You are choosing on purpose. But most people choose on purpose unconsciously. That's why, what was she doing? She was convinced that he unjustly criticized and rejected her best work and that he often was deliberately rude and unfair. She was convinced. We're convinced of something, but the thing we're most convinced of is to our detriment and our downfall. But when we attempt to be convinced with something good, about something good, what do they call that?
Arrogant, delusional.
Okay.
Make believe.
Okay. What else?
Not real.
Okay. What else?
Wishful thinking.
Correct. What else?
Crazy.
Crazy. Faith, positive thinking. But just in regular conversation, what you believe, what do they call that?
Manifesting.
No.
That's just how it is.
That's just how it is. They don't even, why does it take so long to say it? There's not even really a word for it, right? Like, it's just, everybody takes it as, like, oh, that's right, that's just how it is. We don't even name it. But when we're thinking against ourselves, we don't even name it. We don't even name it. When we're thinking against ourselves, we don't even name it. When we're thinking for ourselves, boy, all of a sudden we got to name it. We got to get an LLC to think properly. That was pretty good, huh? I know. Right. We have to form a whole corporation to think properly, to think for our best good. Right? But what did it say? Her employer was merely bearing witness, telling her by his behavior what her concept of him was. Your world is always telling you what your concept of it is. But your concept of it is coming from the concept of self. And your concept of self is telling you who you think you are. And who you think you are is how you think things should go for you. And how you think things should go for you is how they're going. You think how they should go for you is what you want, or what you like, or what you think. No, it's not that. It is what you are. What is the word they use at the beginning? Right? She was convinced. It's what you're convinced of. That's why I say my definition of faith is whatever you say and stick to. Because it's not that no matter how bad you say something is, there's another option. No matter how good you say something is, there's another option. So the one you're experiencing is the one that you said and stuck to. It's not a lack of options. It's the one that you choose. And because you chose that one and were so convinced of it that you relegated all the other ones impotent to you. They can't be a part of your experience. Because it's not that they're not an option or a choice. It's just that you won't, for whatever reason, you won't consider them. That's good to bad or bad to good, so to speak. But the only way her life changed is when she started telling herself something different. Her employer was merely bearing witness, telling her by his behavior what her concept of him was. I suggested that she was probably carrying on conversation with him in her mind, which were filled with criticism and recriminations. You're always believing something. You're always having inner conversations about every aspect of your life. You have beliefs about every area of your life. And when you look at your physical world, that's what they are in physical form. They just didn't show up. There is no such thing as luck or coincidence or synchronicity. Those are just words we use to try to explain the law of how this thing works. of how whatever you tell yourself is true, of whatever you're convinced of internally it will be experienced. So write this down. Write it down. If you're driving, just memorize it, say it 10 times and memorize it. Your expectations become your experience. What you're convinced of, what you expect, there is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. An expectation is an expectation. I'm going to win this game. I'm going to lose this game. They're both expectations. There is no right or wrong. They just get different outcomes, right? So what your expectations become your experiences. What you are convinced of internally to be true for you is what becomes physical form. That is what is being reflected back to you. There was no doubt but that she was mentally arguing with the producers. For others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. Your world is only reflecting back what you are telling yourself internally, what you're believing to be true. But you are the believer. So what you're believing to be true doesn't say anything about it. It says something about you. This is all about you. This story is all about you. All the metaphysical books, they're all about you. They're talking, once you understand what they're really saying, not what they said, but what they mean. When you understand what they really mean, they're all talking about you. This story is talking about you. We've all been the person that had a belief that something or someone was against us, forgetting completely how many times we argue with it, how many times we lay up in the bed stressed over money, lay up in the bed stressed over this, stressed over that, how many conversations that we're carrying on within ourselves, how we have filled our mind with criticism and recrimination. There's no doubt that she was mentally arguing with the producer. For others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. See, the enlightened mind, the person who knows how to think, there's no doubt to that person that what you're doing. They know exactly what you're doing because they understand that there's no way this thing can be in your world that way without you participating. And that is what we come here to discuss and remember and remind ourselves of, that the physical world is not creative, it is created. The physical world is no different than a painter's canvas. Nothing on that canvas gets there by accident. So when we say fancy things like, oh, we create our own reality. Yeah, just like a painter creates a painting. So the painter can't create the painting and then say that wasn't me, or that has nothing to do with me, or I didn't want that, I didn't think that, that wasn't me. You would look at the painter and be like, you're insane. Well, if we create our own reality, then whatever we call reality, physical thing that we're looking at, how do you think we had nothing to do with that? But to the people who know how to think, there's no doubt about what's happening. For others only echo what we whisper to them in secret. The money that we have is only echoing what we are whispering internally. It's only coming back as we sent it out. I asked her if it was not true, rhetorical question, is it not true that she talked to him mentally? And if so, what those conversations were like? She confessed. So first she was convinced that something is wrong. Now she's confessing that every morning on her way to the theater, just what she told him, just what she thought of him. So she's arguing all the way up to seeing him and then gets offended when she has a physical argument. You talk about how broke you are, how sick you are, how bad things are, how it's not going to work, all the way, and then say, see, I told you. We do it to ourselves all the time, right? What you say, she told him just what she thought of him in a way that she would never dare to address him in person. So she's not telling them this in person, but she is telling him, we think that who we're talking to outside of us is more important to who we're talking to inside of us. We think we can say all manner of madness to ourselves, but as long as we didn't say it to them, then it's okay. If you don't have the nerve to say it to them, why would you say it to yourself? If you don't have the nerve to be that destructive to someone else, why would you be that destructive to yourself? Why would you carry on that conversation within yourself and then be offended when it happens physically? But I thought you knew that you're the creator of your reality. Well, if you know that your inner conversations are creative, That is the reality, the physical expression is being mirrored back. The intensity and force of her mental arguments, with him automatically establish his behavior. The intensity and force of your mental conversations establish the behavior toward or in that area that you're discussing, that you're having these conversations about. So when you talk about your relationship within yourself, not to the other person, within yourself, what you talk about within yourself about that thing is what automatically establishes that behavior of that thing towards you. That is what that thing is going to come back like. And so if you're unwilling to change your conversation, your inner conversation about that thing, then however that thing is responding right now is going to keep responding that way. It's establishing the behavior of that thing. You are the creator of your reality. She began to realize that all of us carry on mental conversations. That's the star on top. We're all carrying on mental conversations. But because we're always having them, unfortunately, most of these conversations are argumentative. They're negative because we don't catch them. We're always doing them so we don't catch them. And since the world generally, the way people think, is not on point or on par, then most of them are to their detriment and not their benefit. That's why you can pick up your phone and call anybody to complain and everybody will answer. Call anybody to tell them how good your day was and see how short that list gets. Oh, girl, you just bragging. Oh, girl, you only call me when something good is happening. Oh, girl, But they don't mind if you only call them when something bad is happening. Oh, girl, what you need? People pride on being there for you when it's down, but they'll take just as much pride in vacating if you're saying too much good. Right? We're not upset about it. We're not mad at the world. It's just I want you to understand what I mean by that statement is we have been conditioned to accept, to support, to accept and support mediocrity, negativity, all the things that we don't like. We have been conditioned that way. So when we do the opposite, it seems weird to us. It seems weird to other people. It almost seems uncomfortable to us. It seems uncomfortable to other people. We don't know how to accept it for ourselves, and other people don't know how to hear it. But unfortunately, on most occasions, these conversations are argumentative. Most of our inner conversations are against our best good, are against our highest good, are against our desired end. But she began to realize that all of us are carrying on mental conversations. That's the star at the top. You are carrying on mental conversations 24/7, 365. As long as you are in that body, you are having a mental conversation about something, about your life overall, or about this area of it. You are having them. There is no starting, there is no stopping, there is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong. You are having them. You're not having them. It doesn't stop because you're only talking about negative things. No, it keeps going. It doesn't stop because you're only talking about positive things. There is no negative or positive, just a conversation to awareness. Humanity calls things differently, but you have to start calling things what God calls things. You have to stop calling things what Leroy calls them, what Samantha calls them. You have to start calling them what God calls them. I wound and I heal. I kill and I make alive. I am God. I do everything. There is no right or wrong, good or bad. There isn't. What you call right or wrong or good or bad in humanity is whether you liked it or not. But half the time, you don't even realize you're doing it. So why should I let you be in charge of what to think? You don't even realize how much you talk to yourself. What did it say at the beginning? She was convinced. Now, that same person who was convinced, only the enlightened, only the illumined, only people who know how to think will get her to get to this point. She confessed. That same person that was convinced then turns around and has to confess. So you have to realize, like, hey, just because somebody's saying something that they really believe doesn't make it true, doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it actionable or followable. You have to be, if you are grown, if you are mature, you have to discipline your mind. You have to teach your mind daily what to think, how to think. You have to teach your feelings how to feel. You have to teach your emotions what to emote. You have to be in charge of that. That is being grown. Having a driver's license and a bank account and a beard and all that doesn't make you grown. It makes you older, makes you an adult in age, but not in mind. She went from being convinced to confessing. Right? This is the way this works. But the very intensity of their feeling must lead them quickly to the unpleasant incident that they themselves mentally created. You are mentally creating when you're with the inner conversations that you're having. So many people are mentally engrossed in conversation. And the very intensity of the feeling, so your conversation, right, creates a feeling. Well, really, your feeling creates the conversation. Your conversation creates emotion. So who you're aware of being, your awareness is your feeling. And what you're feeling creates conversation about itself. And that conversation then springs off into emotion. Happy, sad, mad, glad. But whatever that is, that chain of events produces incidents that you yourself have mentally created and therefore must now encounter. What you mentally create, you now encounter. That is understanding that you are the creator of your reality. Your encounter is what you call manifesting. Your encounter is what you call reality. But you created it, so you must be reality. When she realized what she had been doing, see, people are convinced because they're not realizing what they're doing. Once you realize, then what did it say? She agreed to change. We are here to remember, to recognize, to realize, right? To be awake about what we are mentally creating, because that is what we're going to encounter. And obviously, here on this call, we're, hopefully more awake than other people. But I just say it this way to impress the point that what we mentally create based on our conversations, our inner conversations about anything and anyone, we will encounter. And most of us don't realize it. So we are convinced. So we argue for it. We argue to remain the same. Well, you just don't understand. Well, you just don't get it. Well, you're not in my shoes. Well, you don't understand how I feel. Well, you just don't. Okay, well, you're convinced. That's great. But since I know how to think, I understand what you're thinking. So I understand why you're getting it. But since you don't, or you have forgotten, you don't understand why you're getting what you're getting, because you have forgotten that you are the creator of your reality. You've forgotten that you mentally create all things that you must eventually and will eventually encounter in physical form. So we are here to realize what we do, or what we have been doing, so that we agree to change whatever we need to change internally. We change our attitude about it. We change our story. We change what we're telling ourselves about that thing. Because your expectations create your experience. What she was mentally creating were her expectations. And the encounter is the experience of what her expectation was. And if you like it, you keep going. But if you don't, you must agree to change your attitude. What does that mean? Your awareness of being about this thing, the story you're telling yourself about this thing. And what does it say? And to live by change, and to live by the law, to live by faith, to change your attitude faithfully. That means before you see the outcome of it, you have to change it. And you have to keep it changed before you see the outcome of it, until you see the outcome of it. That is faithful. What you say and stick to. By assuming, right? Believing to be before you see. Expecting it to be so. Being convinced before you see. That now her job is highly satisfactory and her relationship with the producer was a very happy one. You have to do that. She didn't talk to the outside. She didn't talk to money. She didn't talk to health. She talked to herself. She changed herself. And when you change yourself, you automatically change the reflection of whatever it is you're trying to change in the outside world. It has to change because you've changed. And it's going to change in direct relation or correlation or in proportion to how much you've changed. Broke is only a state of mind. It's only a state of consciousness. But all states of consciousness express themselves. You encounter them physically. And you are living there. And so you have to remove yourself from there. You have to move. Broke doesn't change. Rich doesn't change. You don't change broke to rich and rich to broke. You move from broke to rich or rich to broke. But they, just like light and dark, they don't share the same space. East and west, they don't share the same location. North and south, everything has its own place. You don't change it. You're either in it or you're not. You either leave it or you stay. And whichever one you're doing, that's what you're experiencing. Changing your attitude by changing what you're telling yourself and sticking to it faithfully before you see it, until you see it. You change what you're saying to what you want to see, to what you want the relationship to be, your health to be, your money to be, or all those things. But the star on top of the tree is, this is happening whether you know it or not. You're doing this every day, 24/7, 365, about everything in your life, whether that's a thing or a person. You have a story about it, but you think their story is based on them, but they are based on you. By assuming that her job is highly satisfactory and her relationship with the producer was a very happy one. The enlightened mind doesn't tell you to talk to that person, not first. Now, if they're in your face, yeah, back up. If they're on your foot, yeah, get off. Yeah, yes. But the most important conversation you have is the one you have within yourself. Because if you walk away without changing your mind, they'll be in your face tomorrow. If you walk away without changing your mind, they'll be on your foot in 20 more minutes. It's going to come right back because it keeps coming back to the person who is that thing. And that person is you. So until you change your mind, it's going to come back. You're going to get sick again. You'll be broke again. You could win the lottery. You could get an inheritance. You'll be right back where you started because your consciousness, your awareness of being is like a thermostat. It's going to regulate that temperature. It's going to find a way to get back to what you set it to. Your life is always going to get back to what you're thinking it is. Doesn't matter whether it goes super low, then something good will happen to get it right back up to where it needs to be. Whether it's super high, it'll come back down to right where it needs to be because you are the creator of your reality. So you can't have a reality that doesn't exist, that doesn't match you. Identity theft only works in humanity. It doesn't work in divinity. It doesn't work in your Christ mind. It don't work. That's why it says, who do you say I am? Who do you say you are? That's why it says that. So she had to change her mind. To do this, she agreed that she was going to go to sleep every night, and on her way, and she would imagine that he had congratulated her. She had to now she had to agree to start telling a different story. To do this, she agreed. You have to agree to tell a different story. Before going to sleep at night, on her way to work, and at other intervals during the day, she would imagine she's telling herself a different story, that he had congratulated her on her fine designs, and that she in turn had thanked him for his praise and kindness. She imagined, she talked to herself. You're the creator of your reality. Who else do you think you need to talk to before or more consistently, or say it the way you want it to be more than yourself? But we spend all our time on XYZ statements, elevators, pitches. We spend all our time on 99, 97 for the psychological so that if people don't think it's too much. We spend all our time on, well, if I buy flowers, oh, well, if I give them a card every week. We spend all our time trying to manipulate the world. We messed up. We spend all our time trying to fix the things that we messed up because of the way we think, but we can't fix the thing we messed up because of the way we think because we keep thinking the way that messed it up. You can't fix the thing in the same mind you broke it with, in the same mind you messed it up with. You can't have the relationship with that producer with the mind that's convinced that he hates you, that she hates you, that your children hate you, or your spouse hates you, or your boss hates you, or people don't understand you, or people hate on you, or people don't like you, or people won't rock with you, or people won't. You can't get the opposite of that until you are willing to be opposite yourself. You have to agree that you are willing to change before you see your desired outcome. You have to be the outcome you want to see, be the change you want to see in the world. Yeah. You have to be the change you want to see in your world because your world is only a reflection of you. And until or unless you change, your world will not change. Your money will remain the same. Your health will stay the same. Everything will stay the same. No matter how much medicine you take, no matter how many overtime hours you do, no matter how many jobs you get, no matter how many promotions, you either won't get the promotion or you'll get the promotion and then your roof will leak and a $30,000 raise will go on your roof. Your car will explode. Something will happen to make sure that money, because that's not your money. That's not your money. Even though you worked for it, it's not your money. Even though you're vegan, that ain't your health. It's not going to save you. The physical world can't save you. The physical world has nothing to offer you. You are the creator of it. You existed it before. You existed before it. How can it save you? How can it hurt you? It is only your canvas to express yourself. That's why what did it say? When she changed, to her great delight, she soon discovered for herself that her own attitude was the cause of all that befell her. To her great delight, she soon discovered. To our great delight, we have discovered that our own attitude is the cause of all that we experience, whether you want to call it good or bad. So there's no one to change but self. Me, you, yourself, myself, there's no one to change but that. Because what does it say? The behavior of her employer, the behavior of that thing in your world miraculously reversed. It's not fact, meaning it's not fixed. It's changeable. It's malleable, but only when you change. We think it's fact because we don't want to change. We think it's fact because we can't fix it. Yes, you can't fix it as the person who broke it. You can only fix it as the person who didn't. You can't first fix it by the person who isn't. You can only fix it as the person who is. That's not for you. That's not your stuff. That good relationship is not for the person who's convinced that they're hated on. That relationship is only for the person who confesses, I was wrong, not to them, but to yourself. That's why it says what? Only against you, Father, have I sinned. Only against yourself are you making these mistakes and suffering as a result. It's not anyone doing anything to you. It's the person you're using. You're using this thing to do it to you. The fork doesn't help you. You use the fork to eat. The fork didn't do anything to you. The fork didn't move on its own. Whether you put it in your mouth or stabbed yourself with it, you still had to pick it up. You're only using it to do what you would do to yourself as a result of who you think you are. To her great delight, she soon discovered for herself. See, that is what we do here, is to awaken ourselves so that we can discover for ourselves. So that when we close these laptops and get off our computer and walk away into the world, since we have discovered for ourselves, we can walk out and realize that our own attitude is the cause of all that befalls us. That everything we're going to encounter today is because of our attitude, meaning our awareness of being, our internal conversations, what we expect to be. And when you change that, the behavior miraculously reverses itself. It either continues if you're right, meaning you're thinking the way you want to think for yourself, or when you have changed, it will miraculously reverse itself. His attitude echoing as it had always done. So that's the star on top of the tree. His attitude, the money, your spouse, your boss, your health, the attitude is always echoing. That thing, attitude, his, is anything you're talking about. Your money, your health, your kids, your relationship. That attitude is always echoing as it always has. It's echoing as it always has done. That which she had assumed. That thing that you're talking about, your body and everything else and everything outside of it, is always echoing what you have assumed. And since she changed her assumption, now it reflected her changed concept. It's always reflecting. It's not choosing. It's not even changing. It only changes because you change. It's constantly reflecting who you're putting in front of it. What she did was by the power of her imagination. This is how you keep your power. So you stop looking at everybody to change. Stop looking for your money to change. Stop looking for all the things outside of you to change while you remain the same. It's not. And once you realize that all you have to do is change yourself, and you don't care what you look at anymore because you know you've changed. And you know it's only a matter of time before you encounter it. It could be a second, it could be a minute, but the change is instant, and so is the reality. Now you're looking at everything differently. Everything is different now. It may look the same, but what it means to you is different because you're perceiving it different. Who is the perceiver? The perceiver is perceiving and and defining what they perceive, not based, you think it's based on it. No, it's based on you. You're telling yourself it means something, not because of what it means, but because of who you are. You think it means that. It's like taking a test. Everybody's taking the same test, but everybody doesn't put the same answers on there, right? So then the question is neutral because everybody's getting the same one, but everybody's giving different answers. So it is the same thing. What you're perceiving is not based on what it is based on who you are. You're writing down the answer. Your perception is the answer, is your answer based on who you're being. But everybody's looking at the same answer. Everybody's looking at the same movie. Her persistent assumption influences his behavior and determine his attitude. Your persistent assumption influences behavior and attitudes towards you and your reality towards you. It is your assumptions and it's your persistence. It is what you are convinced of. That is what influences and determines your reality, what you're convinced of. If you don't remember anything else in this 2-hour class, you're persistent, you're consistent, what you are willing to stick to come in hell or high water, even before you see it. That thing you say, I knew that was going to happen. Anybody ever heard that? I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. See, that's what I told you. I knew that was going to happen. That's persistent assumption. They thought something before that thing happened, and they thought that thing was going to happen anyway. It was going to happen anyway because you created it by what you thought was going to happen before it happened. You created the happening. Your persistent assumption, what you are convinced of, influences and determines the outcomes. That is your reality. Everything that happens from you and to you is based on what you say and stick to come hell or high water. It has nothing to do with the outside world. The outside world is what is the physical reflection of your persistent assumption. It influences everything, the behavior and attitudes toward every physical thing is a reflection of your persistent assumption, of your expectation, of your inner conversation, of what you're telling yourself. So when she was convinced that he hated her, that's what she got. When she confessed and agreed to change, that's what she got. That which she had assumed now reflected her changed concept of him. Her persistent assumption influenced his behavior and determined his attitude. So when you have a business and you're trying to get customers, they're buying or not buying because of your persistent assumption. What you're telling yourself is true is influencing your customers and determining whether they buy from you or not. You think it's your fancy slogan. You think it's your XYZ statement, your elevator pitch. You think it's how many times you're on social media marketing. Hell, most of you ain't doing nothing but begging and dry begging at that. Let's just call it what it is. You think because it sounds good and you have polished up the pitch, it ain't nothing but thirst. And if you were going after a relationship like that, everybody would see it just like that. They'd be like, girl, he thirsty. Yeah, most of you out here marketing ain't nothing but thirst. It's like you've been in the Sahara Desert for 6 months. That's how thirsty you sound on there. But you think it's game. You think it's polished. It ain't nothing but thirst. And it's influencing the behavior and the attitudes of your customers towards you. You're trying to sell them something you're not sold on. You're trying to get them to believe something about you you don't believe. How is business? Oh, one day it's up, the next day it's down. You never know. That's your persistent assumption. You just told me. You just predicted your future. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. Well, what was it yesterday? It was up. Oh, tomorrow will be down. God is good. Praise the Lord. Got what you wanted. You declared and decreed and it came to pass. So you declare, decree, and it came to pass, then you go to church and get in the prayer line. You already prayed. You don't need no help. You don't need no help. You have perfectly destroyed your situation. Now you want to pray to have somebody else resolve it. But here's the problem. The person that prayed with you don't go home with you. So about 10 minutes later, it's going to wear right off. You're going to be right back because you're talking. You won't close your mouth. You keep thinking the same thing, you're going to go right back. Everything that you try to pray off you're literally praying it right back in. By your mouth, by your persistent assumption. That's prayer. Your persistent assumption is prayer. If you didn't know, that's what it is. It influences. Don't you pray to get for something to change? Whether it's to get better or isn't that what you pray for? For something to be different, right? It doesn't mean that you're praying for something bad to be good. You can pray for something good to be better, something better to be great. You ain't got to be in sadness to pray. And hell, if you prayed more consistently, if you prayed more often, if you prayed without ceasing, if you persistently assume to your best good, you wouldn't be in the calamities and catastrophes you're in the first place. But since we consistently, persistently are convinced of our bad, of our downfall, of people hate us, the economy, COVID, tariffs, Trump, this, that, everybody make up every reason. Everybody got their own customized, personalized reason of why they suck, of why their life sucks, of why they're sick, of why they're broke, of why everybody got their own custom tailor-made reason. Yeah, but you don't understand. But my thing is real. No, your thing is as real as persistently assuming that what you think is happening is going to happen, and it happens. It's influence, behavior, and attitude. Your persistent assumption, what you tell yourself, influences and determines what happens to you. Period. It's only you happening to you. It's only you doing it to yourself. That's why he changed. Who is he? He is the physical reflection of your concept of self. Who is money? The same thing. What is your health? The same thing. What is everything outside of you? The same thing. A physical reflection. Everything that you can see in your five senses, everything that's in your five senses is a physical reflection of your concept of self, of who you believe you are. That's it. That's it. That's it. Right? So what does it say? As this designer, by her controlled imagination, started the subtle change in her employer's mind. So can we, by the control of our own imagination and wisely directed feeling, solve our problems. Solve our problems. We solve our problems. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I am salvation. Your awareness of being is that who you believe you are. That is the way. That is the truth. That is the life. That is your salvation. That is your solution. By her controlled imagination, she changed her employer's mind. By control of her own imagination and wisely directed feeling, solved her own problems. That's how you solve everything. Is by your own, by controlling your own imagination, by controlling the story you're telling yourself. That is how you change the thing outside of you. By controlling your story and wisely directing your feeling, your awareness, what you're telling yourself, the awareness. Feeling is not emotion. Emotion is mad, sad, happy, glad. That comes last. Consciousness comes first. Your imagination comes first. Consciousness comes first. Consciousness then creates feeling, awareness of something. I'm aware of. You can't be aware of anything when you're asleep. So consciousness comes first. Feeling is awareness. I'm aware now that I'm awake. Aware of what? Whatever I'm aware of consciously. I'm aware of that. Then my emotion comes to support that. That's how I feel about my feeling. How I feel about my feeling. What I'm aware of makes me have a feeling called emotion. It's not really feeling, it's emotion. Emotion is dead last. You have now gone through a whole process. I'm conscious, I'm aware of something called feeling, and I feel like I'm aware of what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. That's feeling. Awareness of what I'm thinking. Feeling. And then after that creates emotion. By the intensity of her emotion and feeling, the designer cast a kind of enchantment on her producer's mind and caused him to think that his generous praise originated with him. You don't have anyone to change but yourself. You don't have a problem except you, except the way you're thinking. The thinking is your problem. Your thought about that is your problem. And look how easily we will tell ourselves how bad our day is or how bad something's going to go or this or that or, oh God. We are constantly creating our reality. It never creating, meaning selecting from all that exists what we are going to experience in physical form. By our inner conversation, by our imagination, meaning what we are telling ourselves inside. Imagination is God in action. It's your awareness in action. When you're imagining something, you're assuming there's something in front of your evidence. You're daydreaming. You're wishing. You're literally, that's praying. Let's pray. All right, we'll stop for a second. Questions, comments before I move on to the next.
Coach, I have a question.
Sure.
And Sparkle Duncan, I want to make sure she gets her question answered too, because she put a question in the chat earlier. So I just want to make sure that question gets answered too, because that was a great question.
Sure.
But my question is, when you have allowed yourself, I want to take full accountability for what I've done, right? When I've allowed myself to be haunted by a thought, how do I reprogram that intensity in a different direction or the desired direction? How do I because like imagine something has been haunting you for years, or you've allowed something to haunt your mind in silence. You've allowed yourself to do this for years. How do you immediately flip that switch? Like immediately? Because it seems like to me, okay, well, I got to this place over time, so it's gonna take time to get out of this place. So how do I program my mind as intensely as these thoughts have been? How do I program my mind to like immediately like shut all that off? Because I've been struggling with that. Like for a couple of weeks, I've been struggling with that.
Perfect. Great question. And Sparkle Duncan, will you do me a favor? Will you just put your hand up so I can remember to call on you? Because you put a question in the chat, and I just, so that way you can just ask me, but I can remember to call on you when I answer her question. All right. So Sparkle Bailey. So how do we do that? Number one is understanding the law. The law means whatever you tell yourself is true is true. The things you believe now are not because they were true when you first believed them necessarily. Your brain doesn't care about truth. Your brain calls truth whatever you tell it the most. It doesn't care about truth. It doesn't know. So I always give this example. If you gave your 3-year-old soda every day, for some reason, you just gave them soda. Then one day you went to a conference and you decided to give them water. Now, when you come home, they're like, they want their soda, let's say, because they're used to drinking that. You come home from a conference and they tell you soda's not good, you're going to give your child water now. Now, when you give your child that water, what's going to happen when you first give them that water?
They're going to reject it. They're going to be angry. Yeah.
Now, are they rejecting? Now, let's just say in our mind, do we think Coca-Cola, do we think soda is better or worse than water?
Worse.
Worse. Does your child care?
No.
No. They only care about what?
Getting the soda fix.
Why?
Because that's all they know.
Because that's all they know. So they don't care about right or wrong. Your brain doesn't care about right or wrong. It calls right or wrong what you've been giving it, right? So it's only because of repetition in time. So when you now decide, so that's the law. It doesn't, so what you believe now is only powerful because of repetition. It's not more powerful than the new thought that you're getting ready to start that you're getting ready to say and start repeating. It feels weaker. It feels impotent because it's not as familiar, but familiarity is only repetition. So once you understand the law, then you're not intimidated by the strength of the thought you've had because you understand why it's so strong. Because I've been telling myself something for such a long time, right? So now I understand that this new thing I'm going to introduce and start telling myself, I understand that it's not inherently weaker. It just feels weaker because it's less familiar. I haven't been telling myself this thing that long. That's number one. I understand the law. So I understand why this one feels huge. I understand why this new one feels small. They're not, neither one of them is bigger than the other. They just feel that way, meaning, oh, I'm aware. Because I'm aware of this thing more, the intensity of that is greater, right? Not the truth of it, not the power of it, just my awareness of it. But my awareness is so intensely, I'm so intensely aware of this thing, it feels powerful. It feels true. But the only reason that thought is powerful is because we have empowered it. We are aware of that thought. We are giving that thought power. We're aware of that thought. So we are empowering it. That's why that thought feels powerful, because we are transferring our power into that thought. And the more we keep putting electricity into that light bulb, it stays on, right? And it will remain on because of electricity. You pull the electricity out, the bulb is on, but it starts to die. It dies so quickly that it seems all at once, but it dies still in stages almost. It diminishes, right? It goes from light to do, then it's off. But it happens so quickly, it seems like it's all at once. But it's the same thing. When you plug it in, it pops on, but it went in stages of popping on. It didn't just go all the way light at the first second. So what I'm saying to you is your awareness is like electricity. That light could be on for 3 days. You unplug it, it's going to die because that's the law. It needs electricity. That bulb can't stay on its own. That thought can't remain alive. That's why it stays in your mind. It's almost like a leech. It needs to keep coming back to you to remain. You need to remember. Re means to do again. Member, memory, consciousness. You need to keep consciously focusing on that. And when you stop thinking about it for a second, it comes back because it needs more energy. It needs more of your attention to remain alive, right? So once you understand how the law works, you say, oh, okay, well, I'm not intimidated by this thought because I understand why it's so big, why it feels so powerful, why I understand it now. So now I understand that I'm going to take this new thought and I am going to start telling myself this new story. And anytime that old thought pops up in my mind, I am going to now address it as or with the new story. No, I'm this now. No, it's this way now. Now, that old thought also goes with an old you. See, it's not every time you change your thought about something, you're changing your awareness of self. So it's not the old you dealing with a new thought. It's a new you dealing with a new thought. It's new. It's new. So you could say, this is my boyfriend. Well, you said the same thing about the last boyfriend. You both called him your boyfriend, but this one's old. But this old one is not the new one, even though you're using the same term. It's still the new one. This new one has nothing to do with the old one. They don't even know each other, or they don't care, because this one is not that one is not this one, and the two will never be the same. So once you let go of the old one because you're dating the new one and you keep dating the new one, this new one increases, this old one decreases. And the longer you stay with it, the more you care about this one, the less you care about that one. Because your attention is on the new one. The new ones who you're dating, the new ones who's bringing you flowers, the new ones who's opening your door. You keep having an interaction with this new one. So the new ones, the awareness of this new relationship is consistently increasing in your mind. And it's taking up more of that boyfriend space. So that old boyfriend now is getting moved out. They're being moved out in mind. They're the thought of less and less and less because your new one is increasing in awareness in your mind. And that's what a thought is. It's just a new energy that you're going to put your attention into. So once you understand the law, you say to yourself, okay, I understand how this works. So I'm just going to tell myself this new thought. And every time I think of this area, I'm going to use this thought to address it. This is my new boyfriend. So you introduce your new boyfriend. You don't bring your old boyfriend back to the house and introduce him to your family. No, that's old. You introduce your new boyfriend to your family. And every time you go somewhere, everywhere somebody sees you, it's with the new person. It's as the new you. And you introduce yourself, that thought, as the new you. And you do it over and over and over and over and over. Right. And it definitely gets messy. That's why it says what? You can't be double-minded. It's either one or the other. That's why you can't be trying to be in the new thing, talking about your old man. It's not going to work. Nobody want to hear that. The new dude's going to be like, peace. Well, the new thought is going to be like, peace. I'm not about to sit around here while you complain about this. You keep talking about the old, talking about you want to be new. You talk about they don't like me. They don't like me. And every time you see them, they don't like me. But you said you were a new you. I thought you said all the world meant you well and treat you kindly. I thought you said everyone is a link in the chain of your good. But when you get around them, it's, well, they don't like me. Which one is it? Which one is it? It can't be both. It's messy, right? And humanity does mess. Divinity don't. Your higher mind, your Christ mind, don't play with that. Right? That's why it says what? I'd rather you be hot or cold. But since you're lukewarm, what happens? What does it say?
I spew you out.
I spew you out. A double-minded mind is unstable in all its ways. Let it not think.
It will receive
It will receive
anything.
anything. Yeah, anything. You ain't getting nothing.
Looks like we have a question.
Yes, I see her. So yes,
Okay.
so that's so once you understand the law, you apply it, you understand why the old one feels so powerful because you're used to it. You're the new one, you will be empowered because you're pulling your plug out. I'm no longer thinking that, I'm thinking this, I'm telling myself this. Now that will grow just like the old one grew. Right? And every time you in that situation, you tell yourself the new thing. You introduce this. This is what it is now. This is how it is for me. And lastly, you tell yourself, no, this is what it is now, and this is easy for me. This is easy and quick for me. I understand this. This is what it is. And it's that way for me right now. It's easy. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. God is not limited by anything. God is not limited by time. In the beginning was God. And God created the heavens and the earth. So the heavens and the earth, time was created with the heavens and the earth. So I am consciousness. God was before time. So how are you going to be limited by time now? That's only a belief. That's only a human belief. But you thank God you're not human. You are I am making life for humanity. You are I am. And you're made in the image and likeness, right? So that means you exist before that, so you're not limited by that. So you don't tell yourself I'm limited by time. No, it's right now, right here, right now. I am that. And this is the way it is. And you remain faithful to that. And that's what you see. All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, Sparkle Duncan.
Woo, this has been good.
Good.
Thank you, Vera. Vera's been telling me about you forever. Well, my Saturdays are always booked, but I told her I wanted to jump in and see what she was talking about. Man. Okay. So yeah, I got some stuff I got to fix from way back in the past. So maybe I'll work with you later on about that. But the question that I put in there that I felt didn't make sense was like, excuse me, what about when you meet a perfect stranger? And I'll give you an example. I'm at a gathering, with some people from the job. And I knew everybody in the room, and I'm a hugger. We're hugging, and hey, Sparkle, it's just, I'm up here, just excited to see all my peeps. And then there was this one guy who's just sitting in the corner, just going like this, looking at me. And I was like, I didn't get a chance to meet him while I was there. So when I saw him, we're in line at the security booth to get our badges to go to work, and he was in front of me, and I wanted to meet this guy, and introduce myself to him. And I said, I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, hey, I didn't get your name. Now I'm on a vibe like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this guy from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And he just turned around, looked me up and down and said, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm offended.
Mm-hmm.
So now from this point on, I got this attitude towards him, but I didn't create it, So you're saying that we create certain things. So that's when I just jumped on, I wasn't understanding what you were saying. But as I listened to you, all that other stuff that you were talking about, and it's the law of attraction, same thing that I study, and I agree with that, because my money situation finally changed around because I willed it in to change. I didn't know how it was going to change because of my situation, but things are beginning to happen.
Okay.
Now, what about that one guy, some person that you don't even know from Adam, and then you get that reaction?
Perfect question. Let me ask you a question. You said, what about that one guy? What do you think my question is going to be to you?
I have no idea. I just jumped in.
Yeah, but guess. I don't expect you to know, because it's to get you to think. It's not to get you to, because I don't ask you because I think you know. It's to get you to think. So what would if you could imagine me asking you any question, I don't expect it to be right. What do you think I would ask you?
You would ask me what was I thinking towards that guy that caused him to react that way towards me?
Kind of. You said, well, it was about that one guy. My question, my question or my statement would be, no, what about you? Why did you change who you were because of how he acted?
Oh, the after effect.
The effect of, yeah, but what does that have to do with you?
Right. Yeah.
You said you were something. You said, I'm going to say it this way. You said all the world means me well and treats me kindly. Everyone is a link in the chain of my good. So you're up here. Now you go to meet somebody and they act the way they acted.
But my question was like, why did I attract him? Did I attract that response? I thought you were saying that I attracted that response.
Because your behavior after he did it let you know that you're not completely what you said you were. Because why did you change?
Yeah.
Yes, but you only realized it was true after the fact. But it had to be true before the fact. Because otherwise you wouldn't have reacted that way. So it is showing you your propensity to change your concept of self because of how someone else acted, because of the world.
That's true.
Because what did you say? My money changed because I willed it. I will, meaning you decided to tell yourself something in spite of the world. And because you kept telling yourself that, your world changed. Well, you were telling yourself something until you met the world, him. And when he didn't look like you wanted or act like you wanted, look how quickly you changed.
That's true.
You ran for the hills.
No, you're right. Because I grew up in the hood. When you get disrespected, man, it's on and cracking.
Right.
Got you. I got you.
There you go.
Woo!
There you go.
I got some turning around to do, man. I mean, I'm pretty pretty good. I love people, and that's my business, is to get, to change people's lives in the health and wellness field, and it's all the same.
Yeah. But then here's my statement to you. How can you change people's lives if you keep changing?
Right.
Right? Change is only possible from a stable point.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say? I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. Change is only possible because God is stable. Because awareness is stable. So from stability, you can change. You can pick different things. Right? So what I'm saying to you is when you walked away, if I were you, what I would have done is, in that moment, when you know who you are, you're up here. If you are up here, you put yourself there. So you go to hug somebody, they're like, nah, I don't do that. Or I remember going to a car dealership with my dad when I was young. He walked in and the guy was all happy. And the guy said, hey man, good morning. How you doing? My dad's like, I don't know. You tell me. I'll see after you talk about these prices. It was like, and I'm little and I didn't curse because I'm not really a big curse, but I was like, damn, like, why did he get there? Like, he just said, good morning, sir. How you doing? He's trying to sell you a car, not trying to offend you, but you responded like whatever, right? But my point to you is this. In that moment, if I were you and he didn't want that hug and I walked away, the first thing I would have told myself was, oh yeah, he loved me. Oh, he thought I was great. He said we'll talk a little bit later. That's what I would have told myself, because I know that whatever I tell myself is true. And I know that I create my reality, not only on offense, but on defense. I was talking, Auntie Shaky and I were talking yesterday on a call. When you hire a security guard, not only to kick people out, but to prevent who gets in. It's a two-way thing. Your identity is always bringing people to you and repelling people from you based on who is believing itself to be. So that person may not have even been the best person for you. They may, because your awareness knows things that your brain doesn't, right? And so when you say I am this and everybody loves me, okay, and that person might have stubbed his toe. Anything could have happened to that person, but you assumed it was about you. You let that person dictate to you who you were in that moment, when you could have said, no, I still am who I am. Would you say, in the hood, right? Somebody disrespect you, it's on site. It's on and cracking right now. So you're willing to fight for your spot, your space, your square. But you didn't fight for who you were because that person changed. You bailed, you ran. And all your friends gonna be looking at you like, yeah, every time we get into something, you run it. Right? They ain't gonna want you to hang out. So when something happens, you don't let the world change what you tell yourself about yourself. You tell yourself, it's this. It's because I said it is. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It's what I say it is. Right? And that's why that lady, you said she was having conversations. Yeah, but we're not always aware of the things we think. We're not as aware, because if you didn't think that, you would not have responded that way.
Wait, say that again?
If you didn't,
because I didn't hug him or anything. I just noticed that he was by himself, and I was just introducing myself to him, and got back I was like, dang.
Yeah. But what does that got to do with you? Nothing except what you told yourself it had to do with you. You told yourself something. You told yourself it meant something. And what you told yourself it meant wasn't in your best interest.
Right.
That's the point. So you can't change. I'm saying it this way. You can't change people if you keep changing. Nah. You got to teach people how to stand on their square, because I create my reality, not only on offense, but on defense. Not only in creation as far as what I say, but in response and reaction to my world. Let's say Jesus saved people by raising them from the dead. Jesus also prevented people from drowning in the boat, right? It's you are who you are constantly, right? And it may be a pivot, like, okay, this person, yeah, they didn't say what I expected them to say, but that doesn't change who I believe myself to be. And a minute later, that person could have came back and be like, hey, you know what? I was having a bad day. But you never gave yourself that moment. You didn't give yourself that chance, because you left. You abandoned it. Does that make sense? Right? I know you gave me a small thing and I'm extrapolating. So I know that everything I'm saying is not literally saying that you did that, but I'm just explaining it, using your example to explain it to everyone.
I got you.
Right.
Yeah. I need to leave that alone, because, the whole day after day, whenever I would see him on different jobs, his attitude had never changed, so I was just like, whatever.
It's just a matter of what you're telling yourself about yourself. They can hate everybody, but they love me. Yeah, they hate everybody here, but they love me. right? You don't have to do that. You can approach it any way you want. But my point is, on top of the star on top of the tree, what I said earlier is you can approach it any way you want. So approach it the way you want. Tell yourself what you want this to be like. You don't have to change anyone but yourself. And it has to be proven true to you. You don't have to make him your friend. You don't have to make him your enemy. You can make him somebody that never talks to you, doesn't bother you. It's just somebody you see. It doesn't matter. There's no good or bad, right or wrong. It's only what you choose.
That's good, Lucky.
Yeah.
I'll be back next week.
All right. Wonderful. Good. Wonderful. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. I get so excited running my mouth, and sometimes I get off. So thank you for the question. Auntie Shaky.
Oh my goodness. Coach Lucky, so I have so many good things to share because we just spoke last night.
Yeah.
So it's like between last night and right now, crazy. Okay. But not crazy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
What it was supposed to be, exactly what it's supposed to be. But I want to say this to Sparkle Duncan. Anybody that has ever been married before, or maybe women, I'm talking to women, have all experienced this, where we make excuses for our husbands sometimes. Like, girl, don't worry. Monique, I see Monique going. Sometimes we make excuses. So when she was sharing with that, it was almost like, okay, making those excuses for other people. JK said the men do it too. But anyway, okay, let me tell you what happened. So my mom is in town, right? Both my parents are in town. And we get off the call yesterday, and the call yesterday, you're talking about, I basically was like, I choose peace in every area of my life. I choose to be comfortable in every area of my life. Like, I'm listening to you talk, even the small things, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, on this one channel, everything's good. Everything works out for me, right? Okay, so as soon as we get off the phone, off the call, I had to get off immediately because I had to start cooking dinner because I got a house full of people, okay? So I'm cooking. And I realized that everybody's having fun around me, right? I got all of these dishes, everything's happening. And I said, wait a minute, I'm feeling a bit not peaceful. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. So I said, you know what? My family loves helping me. My family loves helping me in the kitchen. They love doing the dishes. They see that if I'm cooking, they'll clean, stuff like that, right? So I'm just saying this like in my mind, I'm cooking. My mom says, if you're cooking, I don't want you to worry about washing any dishes. I'll wash the dishes. What? Excuse me? Okay. Like, literally instantly. Okay. Then, right after that, so we eat dinner, everything like that. This morning, we wake up for, she wants to do this walk around the lake. Okay. And so, I said to her, didn't even have to ask. I did not ask because Coach Lucky said, you don't have to say nothing to these people. You know what I'm saying? You create this. So I said, okay. So this morning, we wake up because we're going to do this family walk around the lake. But my mother's sitting on the couch and she's like, you have to know the dynamic between me and my mother. I grew up in a very judgmental household. We pick at each other. Like it's just like, it's like who can one up each other. Like it's all just very sarcastic. We speak very sarcastic to each other, right? And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. That needs to change. You know what I'm saying? I have a loving household. I don't ever want my daughter-in-law to feel that. I don't want my grandbaby to feel that, any of that, right? So she's sitting on the couch and she says, yesterday was just beautiful. It was probably one of the most beautiful days I've ever had. I mean, everything was perfect. The food was perfect. You were perfect. She was like, I felt so at peace, so calm. We're talking about instantly, okay? Let me keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Y'all, just don't y'all mind me, okay? But I just need y'all to know that this thing don't take time, okay? This thing don't take time. It just take a made up mind, but it don't take time. Okay, now, here's the other thing. So we walking, okay? And I said, okay. I said, so I'm saying to my husband, because my mother, she's 74, so she walks a little slower than we do, okay? And she said, don't mind me. You don't have to keep up with me. You don't have to keep up with me so long as I can see you all. You walk your pace, right? So okay. So me and my husband, we're walking together. She's lagging behind, and so I'm telling my husband about the conversation we had yesterday, and the story specifically about you and your mom, about the favor and stuff like that. And you were taking your mom around, and you all got favor here and favor there, and y'all walked into the building, and I mean, no line, no wait, y'all were out in 10 minutes, right? So I'm telling him this whole thing. And so I said, I really want this to be a beautiful experience for my mom. Y'all, when I tell you, so normally we walk at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, 4 something in the morning, okay? But anyway, all of the people that like love us that are always on the trail at 5 o'clock in the morning were there at 7:30 in the morning. All of them. So she got to see like everybody was loving on her, and oh my gosh, she was like, this was so amazing. Like the sun was shining bright, no rain, no nothing. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Y'all, I'm gonna hurry up. Okay, because it was so good. Okay. So then we leave there and we go to Aldi, okay? Because we gotta go get some groceries. Okay. We go to Aldi. We go get our groceries. We get a parking spot right up front. Because I said to my husband, I said, listen, you experience favor one time, you expect to favor all the time. Okay. So the park thing, the trail thing was favor. Okay. So I said, okay, we're gonna keep expecting this favor. Okay. We go to Aldi, front parking spot. Okay, we get in. Now Aldi on a Saturday, bro, if anybody ever been in the Aldi on a Saturday, look. Okay, no wait in line. Okay, cool. We pay for our stuff. All right, boom. All right. Then after we go to Aldi, we go to TJ Maxx. Now, if anybody ever been to TJ Maxx on a Saturday, whoa. Okay, no wait. Okay, no wait. We exchange, do whatever we got to do. Okay, cool. The favor happened. The favor keep going. Okay. We going to Costco now. I said, okay, don't nothing change just because we going to Costco. Okay. On a Saturday morning. On a Saturday morning, okay? We get to Costco. Coach Lucky, when I tell you, it was so convenient. The guy next to us, he said, hey, would you like my card? I would love your card. Okay, let's take your card. Okay. Now, the cards are right at the door. You know what I'm saying? They ain't far, but I spared myself a couple steps. You know what I'm saying? It was still favor. I looked at his favor. Okay. So we get the man's card. Okay. We go in. We get the little few items that we need. I be damned. It ain't nobody in none of the lines. It's like the red seating party for us. At 10:30 on a Saturday morning at Costco, it ain't no way. It ain't no. Let me tell you. My husband said, that's the quickest we done been in and out of Costco. I said, honey, that's favor. We expect that every time. I'm done. And it ain't nothing but 11 o'clock. I'm in high expectation for the rest of the day of even more favor happening. But that's just all I want to share. It happens instant. When you got a made up mind, it's yeah. Anyway.
Shaky, you left the call right before Alexis said for us to share these favor moments in our WhatsApp group, so that way we can keep pumping each other up in this challenge. So that was awesome.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that. This is dovetailing perfectly into the last part. So anybody have anything else, any questions or comments or anything before I get into the last part of it? Because this is a perfect dovetail into it. But questions?
I just want to say this makes my heart smile, because when you know something to be true, you want everybody to know it too. Like it's a every moment. It's like every day. It's like, wow. And when I hear these stories and I know my own, makes my heart smile.
Okay. So no. Okay. Perfect dovetail into the end. Your expectations become your experience. Yesterday, we were on the call that Auntie Shaky was referencing on our youth circle call, and we were talking about the flow of favor. And we were talking about how I was talking about my experience with my mom, because I'm, as you know, as you guys can see, I'm down here on the, I'm on the famous white throne couch when I come down to see my parents. I'm on the throne, right? They all know, clear it out, be quiet. And everybody knows, be quiet, right? So, I'm on here doing my thing. So, when you come down, I come down to see my parents. So my mom automatically, I don't know if it happens before I get here or when I come, but she has a million errands to run all of a sudden, right? So, man, look, and now I'm an adult, I can take all the plastic off and I can't get a spanking because I'm not going to cut my leg. I'm not going to be on here sweating like I was 8 years old anymore. Them times are up. The gig is up. I'm grown now, Mom. I will fight you or whoever else. I'm not keeping that plastic on. Right. So, yeah. Right. So I'm on here. And so I'm down here. And so I'm running my mom, we're running a series of errands and we're talking about the flow of favor. And it was like, we go to City Hall downtown over here in Santa Monica in Southern California. In Santa Monica, we're there. It's kind of like Auntie Shaky was saying, like 8:30 in the morning, going to handle some business downtown and park a space right in the front, and stuff like that. We get in and go to the place. Nobody's there. We walk right in, get out. Then we go to the Bank of America, like 9:30 in the morning now because they had to wait for the bank to open. Walk in, there's nobody in the bank. There's one teller sitting there. There's nobody in there. She's on her phone behind the glass. Just sitting there, posted on her phone. She's literally walk up. She's literally doing like this. And she's like, oh, hi. And there was nobody in there. So we get in, get out of there. We go one other place, same thing. So it was like, oh. So kind of like Auntie Shaky said this, we were talking about the flow of favor. It was like you take, Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, right? So momentum is almost like compounding, right? You go, when they say it rains, it pours. Well, that's compounding or momentum just the wrong way, right? We're going to use compound interest and momentum the other way. So every time you see something happen to you that's for your favor, you're walking across the street and somebody just slows down and says, hey, go on ahead. You take that thing and you apply it to the next thing. Like, you know what? They treated me so kindly. So now you walk into the grocery store with that expectation. Right? You know what? I got favor. I got favor across the street. I got favor in this store. Then you walk in and something else happens. Then you walk in and something else happens. And you keep that expectation of favor. You keep the flow of favor going. Just like the story with the lady in the Bible where Elisha the prophet, she came to Elisha the prophet and said, hey, my sons are, my husband died and my sons are getting ready to be sold off. That's a whole metaphysical story, but my sons are getting ready to be sold off for debts. And so Elijah says, well, how much oil do you have in the house? And she said, I only have this little bottle. He said, okay, go to all your neighbors and get every bottle you can get. Get every bottle you can find. She goes to get every bottle she can find, her and her sons, and they come back and they close the door. Closing the door in the Bible is a very important thing. Is what it's telling you is to shut off the outside world. Shut off what you're looking at, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, shut that out, shut it off, because you can't have the outside world in your business, in your house. You can't have them there. You either are in or you're out, but you can't have the out in. And the in don't work out until you've already worked it out in here. Right? So they closed the door. Well, they got all the bottles from all the neighborhood and Elisha started pouring the oil and he poured all the oil, so much oil that they ran out of bottles. Right? So then they sold off the bottles and so that to keep their son out of debt, they sold off all the bottles and he said, keep that and basically enrich yourself, sell the rest for your own profit. So all the bottles were sold to pay off their debt and there was money left over. Right? And so the flow of favor, the oil didn't stop until the things that it could be poured into ran out. Right? You're good. There's way more good than you can handle. So you there with your little one jar thinking to be grateful when you could be going to get all the jars in the neighborhood is unnecessary. Right? You can't, what does it say? I can't beat God giving. They're singing in church, I can't beat God giving no matter how hard I try. Same thing. That oil didn't run out. They got jars from everybody. The oil did not stop until he said, go get another jar. They said, there's no more. So they sold off what they had to get their son out of debt, to keep her sons out of debt. And there was money, and there was jars left over that she was able to sell for profit. So she went from broke and her son about to be sold off to her sons now being kept and prosperous. All from one jar of oil that she said, and the jar of oil basically symbolically represents, what do you have in you that you can use to increase yourself? When Jesus was feeding the multitudes and there was only that little bread, right? And what did it say? Jesus said, well, okay, bring me what you have. And it said what? He looked at it, he looked up to heaven. Well, as above, so below, as within, so without. So above and within are the same. So above really meant within. You go within yourself to appropriate all the prosperity that's in you, right? Because it's coming from in you. Christ in you, the hope of glory, right? Let that mind that's in Christ be also in you, right? Calvary, right? Jesus died on the cross. The cross is your body. Calvary is a word named Golgotha. It means skull. So Christ is in you, literally. It's talking about the base of your skull, or really the base of your spine, where that oil called Christos rises up. That's a whole nother situation. But the point is, right, that you take that favor from one thing, from that phone call, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. You take it from the bank, to the grocery store, to crossing the street, to the phone call you're getting on, to the client you're about to meet, to your health, to your money, to your relationship. You take that favor and you let it compound. You let it build like momentum. And what I say, your expectations create your experiences. And when you're walking in with favor in your mind, and then you see that favor and experience reinforces your awareness. It reinforces your belief in favor. So now your favor is bigger. So if your favor is bigger, what do you think gets bigger after that? The experience to go along with it. So then the bigger experience now buttresses your favor some more and builds it up higher. So now your favor is even bigger. So then the experience gets even, and it goes around and around and up and up and up and up. And so saying all that to say, the flow of favor, there is no day that there is no favor. There is no place that there is no favor. There is no person with whom there is no favor. Your favor only stops pouring when you shift your consciousness on other things. When you start talking about what you don't got and how hard it is, and they didn't like me, and I said hi and they didn't say nothing, or I said hi and they said go to hell, or I said hi and they said you ain't, or I said hi and they didn't respond at all. You now have shifted your focus off of all the favor that you've had all day and put it on somebody who says something slippery with their mouth, or somebody who honked at you when you were across the street. You now took it off of all this goodness and put it on somebody, and you got to give them a piece of your mind now. Or you got to pick up a car and throw a rock, or pick up a rock and throw a rock at the car. Or you got to tell the bank lady she can't talk to you like that. You have to choose. You're either going to make the effort or going to have the excuse. You're either going to make the effort to constantly keep your mind on the good and to tell yourself everything is good and it's all good. Because to your point, Sparkle Duncan, if you were believing what you were believing, then everything you saw, you would have defined that way. What does that mean? When you're on a channel, when you turn a channel on, everything that you see on that channel is a reflection of that channel. The program that you're watching and the commercial. So the program is how you felt. Somebody said something to you that was a commercial. It didn't look like it was the same, but it's still on the same channel. So that means whatever you tell yourself is still true until you let somebody respond to you in a way that made you change the channel. It made you think that, oh, maybe this is, no, it's the same channel. The commercial is on the same channel. The program's on the same channel. So it's all the same. The commercial is just as good as the program, and the program is just as good as the channel. They're all one. Right? So you don't let the outside world change your channel. And when you know that everything is always working out for you, you come out and your tire's a little flat. This is working out for me. I don't know. Your brain will tell you it's not. You'll be like, I don't know how, but I do know what. That this is work. It is what I said. This is on my channel. And so it's got to work out for me. It's got to be in my best good. Right? And so when you keep it there, you'll see it. You'll meet somebody that'll change your tire, but the person you meet changing your tire was not to change your tire maintenance. It was maybe the person that knows something you want to know, right? It's the person that you never know who you're meeting. You don't know why but the flat tire only represents your good. It's part of the channel. So if you pick the channel you like, everything on it is a reflection of what you like. And when you keep it that way in your mind, you will see that even though it doesn't look that way, it is that way if you keep it. But when we abandon it, oh, well, dang, my tire is flat. Well, I guess that means what? Oh, okay, well, then guess what? You stop the flow now. Now, all of a sudden, the oil stops flowing. But then guess what? The same brain that'll make you think it's bad will be the same brain that will complain about it being bad. The same one that convinced you to change your mind is the same one that will stress your mind and press your mind. The same one that told you I don't feel like going to work will be the same one that stops you from going to work because of the thought, will be the same way complaining about you don't have no money. The same thing that makes you do something will be the same thing complaining about what you did, right? You have to be the parent. You have to be the adult and say, this is the way it is. If I said everything is working out for me, then that means this so-called flat tire. That means somebody not responding to me. That means somebody honking at me when I cross the street. That's all for my good. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working for my highest and best good. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm keeping the flow of favor going. I am perfect. I am victorious. And I have favor everywhere I go. Favor, victory, and perfection is what it is, period. That's what I say it is. And whatever I declare and decree comes to pass. Not what he declares and decrees. Whatever I do, not what he, who is he, who is they, who is it? Nobody but what I think they are. And what I think they are is because of who I think I am. So who is that? Who am I thinking myself to be that I think that this is not good? Or that I think they don't like me? Or that I think that they were, who do I think I am that I think they're that? Or could be, or would be? No, everybody's gonna get up and help me wash his dishes. And I ain't gotta say nothing to them. Everybody's gonna say that was the best night of my life, like it was Jamie Foxx and them. And Wiz Khalifa, this is the best night of my life, just like the song. Yeah, and everybody, and I'm gonna say it to myself. And you're gonna prove it to be true. And when you keep doing it, you're unstoppable at that point. Because now your world is not dictating to you, you're dictating to it. Now you're not trapped by time. You're not trapped by behavior. You're living outside of it. You're living above it. You are the head and not the tail. You are the victor and not the victim, right? You are the owner and not the owner. You are the lender and not the borrower. You are on top and not the bottom. You are it. You are always on. You're always up. It's always good. Why? Because you have the victory in all things. That ain't something to make you feel better. That's just the truth. Now, if you want to go without it, you go right on ahead. That's called free will. But you do have the victory in all things. It is available for you. It has been left for you as an inheritance, as who you really are. So then claim it. Claim the victory and all. I got the victory. Everything is working out for me because that's the truth. And I am the truth. And I am the way. And I am the light. So whatever I say goes. Period. And I'm not going to let somebody else who don't create my reality create my reality. Why would I do that? Right? And you will see, just like that story we were reading, the very producer, she was convinced, hated her, it changed because she changed. And either things will change when you change, or they will change because you did it. I said everybody loves me. You spoke to somebody, they didn't say nothing. They still love me. Oh yeah, they spoke to me. They love me. Oh, they think I'm the best and the greatest. You go to the bathroom, you come back out, and they stand there waiting on you. You know what? I'm so sorry. I was so rude. I just had something else in my mind. And you're going to be like, I can't believe it actually worked, right? Because it is. We have been conditioned to believe in what we see and to react and to respond only to what we see. But our brain and our sight, our physical functions are limited. We don't know what we don't know, right? And so we believe in a limited thing when there's unlimited options. And we pick the limited one instead of the unlimited one, which is whatever you tell yourself is true, according to your faith be it unto you. You declare and decree and it comes to pass. Oh, right? Death and life are in the power of their tongue. We speak in life till we meet the person. They do something we don't like, and now death. We speak in death all of a sudden to our own self. We're the one that suffers when we walk away. They don't. We do. So why am I going to do that to me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I don't want him to say he don't like me, then I'm not going to tell myself he don't. I'm not going to tell myself anything I don't want somebody to tell me, ever. So of course, when I get on a call, they all love me. They all can't wait to buy what I got. When I get on a call, everybody's here waiting for me. I'm not fighting to get on nobody's calendar. They're fighting to get on my calendar. Everybody's asking me, hey, where that insurance you got? Hey, what else you sell? Hey, you got any more than things you make? Hey, you got any more room in your daycare? Hey, can anybody else repeat my website? Hey, can you take room for teaching any more teachers? Hey, can you? They all fight for you. You spending all your time trying to convince them, but if you spend half the time convincing you, they would all be added unto you. What does it say? Seek first, and all these things will be added unto you. But since you're not seeking first, what you're doing, you seeking them first. So guess what you're doing? You chasing. So you the road runner. And they the road runner, you the wily coyote. And guess what? He ain't never caught him yet. He done fell off a kid, blew himself up with dynamite. So you can try hard. Wile E. Coyote tries hard. Ain't nobody knocking his hustle. He try hard every episode. He ain't caught the road runner yet. You chasing all these people that will come to you. because they will come to you if you choose that's who you are. That's why it says seek first, and all these things will be added unto you. All the clients will be added unto you. The people will wash the dishes. You'll find a parking space. Everything that you chasing, you're only chasing because you're not. You're not being that thing, so you got to chase it. When you be that thing, all those things come to you. So like when Sparkle Duncan talked about the law of attraction, that's basically what it is. It is you're always bringing into your when you seek first the awareness of being, and all these things will be added. Seek first Christ and his righteousness, right thinking as the person who has whatever they want, and that thing will be added to you in physical experience because you're being, you're attracting, you're bringing to you who you are. You can't get who you aren't. Nothing has ever happened to you that had nothing to do with you. Nothing. It has something to do with you in creation, or in Sparkle Duncan's example, in reaction. Both of them let you know who you are. What you do let you know who you are, and how you respond let you know who you are. And sometimes we don't always know who we are until we respond, until we react, and be like, oh, shit, I missed it. I thought I was, but I realize now, okay. So now I'm like, now I just like I talked to Alexis, I maniacally hammer my self-concept. I am the best. I am the greatest. I'm always loved. I'm always chosen. I'm always preferred. I'm always prioritized. All the world means me well and treats me kindly. Everything I set my hand to prospers. People can't wait to sign up for my business. I always get paid on time. Everybody loves what I have to offer, loves to pay me what I want, and loves to refer others to do the same. People can't get enough of what I have to offer. I can't make enough food or sell enough books. They're just too many. I can't write them fast enough. People, they want to keep me on the phone. Like, that is not only creating, but that is your immediate response and reaction to the world. When it shows you something different, you be like, oh, that's not for me. See, what you saw, Sparkle Duncan, was an order that you brought, and the waitress brought you the wrong thing, and you accepted it instead of sending it back. That's not, oh, I see it. That's not mine, though. That's not, this is my, you repeat your order. I was the one that bought the, oh, I see what he did, but that's not for me, though. I'm the one everybody loves. And the waitress takes the order and comes back and says, oh, I'm sorry, here you go. He comes back, turns around, and 30 seconds later, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I just was, and they bring you your order because you didn't change. You didn't accept something that wasn't yours. That's not for me. People bring orders wrong all the time. You don't accept it. That don't make you a good person. That don't make you nothing except the person who got what they didn't want and still paid for it, right? No, Auntie Shaky and then Sparkle. Sorry.
So this reminded me of something you said on one of our calls. You said that when I decide that I'm watching a particular channel, that I'm on a particular channel, everybody got to watch the same thing I watch. Everybody's watching the same thing I watch. I cannot forget that. Like, so that means that everyone is participating in this thing. Like, we're all here. We're all on this channel. There isn't, so you acting a fool ain't on this channel. So you're not acting a fool. We on this channel where fools don't exist. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just what that made me think about.
Your identity is always impelling people from you and always drawing people to you. It's like the security guard. They're the ones at the club that let everybody in, and they're the same people that throws everybody out. Your security guard is like your identity. It's always drawing people to you and repelling people from you. So when you think you lose a customer, you didn't lose nobody. You lost somebody who no longer physically represents your awareness of being. So when you're aware of, I have $10,000 clients only, then the people who are $2,000, they go. And you don't have to do anything to them, and they don't feel like you did. It's just they naturally are removed because they no longer physically represent. Everything in your world is a physical representation of who you're being, not only in creation, but in response, in reaction. So when you are being something, you act. And when you're being something, you react. And both of those let you know who you're being. And sometimes we don't know who we are until we recognize, like she said, oh, I realize I've been arguing with this person in my mind all the way to work. Now I realize why he hates me when I get there. We just don't have the same argument in person that I had all the way up here. But it's his fault? I was arguing with him before I saw him. Right? Stuff like that. Yes. Sparkle Duncan.
All right, Coach, I got some strongholds that I'm going to need help with because I was brought up in the church too. And I still remember in the 4th grade, here's an example. that I'm in conflict with, because I've given my last penny to help someone. If I see someone needs help, I'm there. I've crawled under, turned over cars, and lady got ran over by a bus. I was there helping. I'm always there helping people in need. But at the same time, okay, so my mom, we had this Bible study, and we were talking about, mom was talking about the turning the other cheek thing. So if somebody, slaps you in the face, biblically, you turn the other cheek and let them hit you. And so this is where this mindset, this stronghold that I have growing up in the hood, anytime I've turned the other cheek, it gets worse. So this girl was telling me that she was going to beat me up. And at recess, she was talking. I'm just standing there. And so she hit me, and I stood there. I didn't do anything. And she hit me again, and I was just going like fourth grade, and I'm thinking that that's how Jesus is. And I had this picture of him on the cross getting, killed, murdered for no reason. But then I started noticing kids started coming around, and they're pushing me. And then Arthur took the basketball he's bouncing, he threw it in the back of my head, and and somebody else is punching me. And I was like, this isn't working. I'm trying to be God-like. I'm trying to turn the other cheek. I'm trying to be loving. But the more loving I am in the hood, the worse I get treated, right? And so right then, I was just like, she hit me again, I'm going to hit her back. And she was a bully. She's way bigger than me. She's way thicker than me. And she popped me again, and blood was running right here. And then I just lost it. And I went off on her, and she kept knocking me down. I kept pulling on everybody's clothes, and we were fighting. And so as I'm, they're blowing the whistle, and all the teachers are running and breaking it up. And I just remember some girls took me into the restroom, and they were fixing me up and saying, I can't believe you fought her, and everybody's scared of her, blah, 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 blah. I'm just defending myself, and they're like, I think you got the best of her. Don't tell her I said that, And so she was off my back. And so as time went on, weeks went on, she's in the classroom, and she tried me again, and she's saying stuff, and I'm ignoring her. I'm doing my work, and she's saying stuff again, coming by my chair and saying what she's going to do to me again. And it all started all over again, because I wasn't, I'm trying to stay on a loving vibration, but it wasn't working. And so I've found that, throughout my life, if somebody's coming at me and I'm a loving person, and you coming at me in a negative way, I'm going to snap back. So I'm going to need help with that, because my stronghold is that type of mentality doesn't work, in the real world. And, I left the hood, but it's still in me. I'm still going to be loving, kind, generous, helpful, give my life for someone, that type of attitude. But when I'm being treated a different way, help.
Yeah. Like you said, that's probably a conversation you and I got to have, once when we with a little more time. But I will say this, what I will say this is that that is not actually that is what it said in the book, but that's not what it meant. So when it talks about turning the other cheek, that's not what it meant. What it means is I'll just simplify it really quickly. What it basically is saying is that two things. One, don't forget who you are. And number two, you can't lose. And what that means is like, so you went up to hug, you went up to not hug, but you went up to talk to the person to introduce yourself. That person didn't respond the way you wanted them to. That is when you turn the other cheek. Meaning, when after that happened, you turn the other cheek, you use another aspect of yourself to present yourself still the same way. You don't use it to change who you are. You use it to say, okay, I presented myself this way, and now I'm going to present myself this way. But I'm still going to present myself the same way. I'm still going to be the same thing. It's not about letting anyone encroach upon you physically. That's not what it means. It means you don't, because what did I say? In order to change everyone else, you have to be the one that doesn't change. Right? And so you turn the other cheek. It just means you remain as you know yourself to be, because you know you can't lose. Right? And you keep presenting yourself as you are, because as you are is what always wins. It doesn't mean to physically, it's not talking about physical. It's just talking about when you go to introduce yourself and somebody acts a certain way. You don't keep yourself the same way you experienced it. You turn your cheek so that you present yourself as fresh still, because that's what you're going to get. It's how you present yourself, not what happened. Right? And so it's a longer thing, but that's what it means. It's people know a lot of what it says, but most people don't really know what it means.
Yeah, because after I grew up, I told my mom that story, and she got angry. She says, I taught you to I never taught you to be a road mat. What did she say? A rug mat? Because she's from Gary, Indiana. She's from the hood too, and they fought. You know. Yeah. So I was just really confused. I said, but I thought that's what you were saying, to turn the other cheek, to still, be nice and loving, and, people don't respect that. Some people do and some people don't. So I was just really confused about it.
And the last thing I'll say real quick is that Jesus didn't get murdered. Jesus didn't die. Jesus came and said, I came to be about my Father's business. Jesus knew what he was doing before he got here and came here to do what he did. And he accomplished the mission that he set out to accomplish, which is what all of us come here to do, right? So nothing happened, because what if you look back through the book and look through the story, what did it say? One of the places said, no one laid a hand on him. No one laid a hand on him at that time because it wasn't time yet. No one did anything to him when it wasn't time, before it was time. Nobody did it when Judas Iscariot, right, gave him a kiss on the cheek, right? He said, hey, before he did that, he said, hey, friend. He said, hey, friend, come do what you came to do and do it quick. Hey, friend. Hey, you are the person that I already knew was going to do this. You're my friend. You're the person helping me get this done. Right? Nothing. Jesus wasn't murdered. Jesus wasn't no punk. Jesus didn't get out there and no, Jesus came with a mission and came to do everything he did in the order that he did it, so that he could make the impression and be the influencer that he wanted to be. But he said, I came here to be about my Father's business. So I came here to be something. So I came here to be, which means I already knew what I came here to be before I came. So nothing here happened that happened outside of my frame, outside of my will, outside of anything that I wanted to happen. No human's going to do anything to God. That doesn't work. But people don't understand what that is. Like I said, Calvary is just the cross is just your body. That's why in the beginning it said, when he told the disciples at the beginning, he said, hey, take up your cross and follow me. It's talking about your body, right? This is what you die on. This is where you're limited by. This is your grave that you're in, that you're going to rise and overcome, right? Is the human form. And so that's all it's talking about. But most of us weren't taught properly. Most of us are taught literally and not esoterically. So we know what it says, but we don't really know what it means. And then that's why, like you said, your mom got upset, because she's thinking, yeah, I thought you knew what I meant, not what it said, but you took it literally, right? Like, this is what you said. This is what you said. So yeah, and then they get mad, but that's why we get mad, because we think, well, where's God at? I thought, God, why would God allow this? Well, because you know what it said, but not what it meant. And so much of us, like you said, I grew up in church like everybody else. And it's like, I always tell people, I'm not against church. I grew up in a great one that taught me a lot of things that really helped me to understand what I understand now. But now I just understand better, because I did what most other people who go to church don't do, which is study, which is know other languages and know what it means in Greek, what it means in Hebrew. So all of us know what it says, but most of us don't know what it means. And that's where the confusion and the misalignment comes, right? And then so once we have some time together and I explain it to you, then all those, the only cause of sin is ignorance is the only cause of sin. Our lack of knowledge is the only cause of error. Sin just means error, it means to miss the mark, right? Our ignorance, our lack of awareness is the only reason we think a certain way. Once knowledge is put in, sin goes out, error goes out, and you're free. You'd be free in a couple minutes, right? Because bondage just means that we are held captive by something that our knowledge doesn't help us get out, doesn't know how to get out of. Once we're given the knowledge, you walk out the front and be like, man, I'm gonna see you. It's been nice.
Yeah, you just freed me, because that is so true. People depict Jesus as a weakling, skinny, and he was a carpenter. He was strong. He was buff. He probably looked a lot like you. So, yeah. So I'm not going to allow people to change who I am. I think that's your message.
Because then you're not the God you really are. Right. See, that's the thing. Then you're not the God you really are. God's name is I am. God is a title, like mother or father. God said, what is my name? When when Moses asked him, I am. That is my name unto all generations. You say, I am. Hi, nice to meet you. I am Sparkle Duncan. I am Sparkle. You're now saying I am is Sparkle. I am is believing. Sparkle is a person, a persona, which means character or mask. It means I am is operating under the mask of Sparkle. And so I am is in there, right? And I am no punk. I have created the heavens and the earth and everyone. I tell people all the time, everything or anything or anyone, everything and everyone that in your humanity you could be afraid of, I am made. And if I am, God made it, then that means you made it, because that's you. So then in my natural mind, I could never be afraid of anything that I made, because I know how it works, how it doesn't work, right? I know how to work. I know everything about it. So why would I be afraid? Because I know it. I'm only afraid when I don't know something, right? Fear is only present when ignorance is absent. I mean, when knowledge is absent. Fear is only present when knowledge is absent. Once knowledge comes in, it fills that vacuum and you're like, oh, I'm good. So when you have a child, you won't let them cross the street at 2 because you know they don't know nothing, right? And they're going to get hit. But when they're 12, you still love them the same, but you don't have that same fear because you know their knowledge has increased. Same street, same kid, it's just maturity, right? It's awareness that increases. When our awareness increases of who we really are, all those things that held us in bondage, all those things that we are afraid of, all those things fall away because they no longer apply.
Hey, you are so good. I am so glad that I came and that I'm here. Hey, Auntie Shaky, got some of my friends in here. But I gotta go. I'm gonna be on another call right now. But
thank you for coming.
I love you. I love what you're teaching. The world needs you. I need you. We all need you. And I'm gonna work on continuing to be me because God is in us all. This energy. He is in everything. And so I'm gonna continue to work in my God self and not allow the outer world pull me out of my God self. And correct. I got you. I got you, baby. Thank you so much.
Yes, good to see you. All right, everyone. So I know it's getting towards the end, but wrapping it up so that any questions or comments afterward. Point being is that kind of like she said, you are I am, whether you know it or not, like it or not. This isn't a practice. This isn't this isn't something you get to pick or not. That's already done. You get to pick who you're being. You get to now choose whether you're going to accept the mission like Tom Cruise or not. You're on the mission, so you're going to accept it and you're going to roll down the stream or not accept it and try to go upstream, but you're still in the stream. So you're going to figure out you're either going to roll down and or you're going to get rolled over. Either way it goes, so you might as well win. You might as well start practicing winning. Practice winning. Practice, you are perfect, whole and complete as you are, right? Favor only, favor always. You get that oil out of favor and you start flowing. You start pouring that oil of favor over every area of your life. Oh, I got favor with this. Oh, I'm going to take that onto that. I'm going to compound it with this. Now I'm going to take it into here. I'm going to take favor off the street, into the store, into my relationship, into my kids, into my business, into my health, into my money. I'm going to keep compounding it like interest. The 8th wonder of the world, compound interest. And before you look up, you'll have so much of everything, you won't know what to do with it. You won't even never recognize how it came. But because what you expect, you experience. And you got to start expecting victory. You got to start expecting that, like your desired outcome, all this stuff, wishing and hoping and waiting to see, you'll be waiting forever. You'll be wishing forever. You'll be hoping forever. You only get who you are. Not what you wish, not what you hope, but who you're being. And you're being whatever you expect. Whatever you are convinced of, like the lady in the story. She was convinced that something was a certain way. And when she was taught properly, she then confessed. She went from conviction to confession, and from confession to victory. She changed her mind and she went from conviction of loss to I'm now won. I'm winning. And didn't say a word to the dude. Didn't say one word to the dude in the whole story. So it lets you know it's you the whole time. This is all you the whole time. It's the physical form reflection of who you're believing yourself to be, right? So you choose. That's the goal. That's the mission. Choose this day who you serve. I am what, right? I am perfect. I am victorious. And I got favor everywhere I go. Perfection, victory, and favor everywhere I go with everything, period. And nothing pulls me out that frame. The show doesn't pull me out that frame. The commercials don't pull me out that frame because I have picked the channel of perfection, victory, and favor. So everything now is a reflection of perfection, victory, and favor. It don't matter what it looked like, smell like, taste like. It only matters that I don't change the channel. If I didn't change the channel, that means this commercial is as much as this channel as the program. And the next program and the next program, because I chose the channel, right? So keep the channel the same and it all means the same. All right, questions, comments, anything before I let you all go?
Coach Lucky, thank you. Well, listen, shout out to your parents, okay? Shout out to your mom and your daddy, for real.
I don't give them any credit.
Well, I give them all the credit because the way you
I
just
give them
like,
nothing. I'm
the way,
Drake. Me.
the way you just delivered this information was so fire and so on time. This was, when I logged onto the call and I saw what we were reading, I was like, how did he know this was appropriate for this week? This reading needed to be read this week. This was so on time. This is better than any church that I have ever been a member of. This space right here. And I thank you so much. I'm over the moon excited to just keep winning and keep being victorious. I've been victorious. And so these calls they just consistently remind me, you already been doing it. Just keep doing that. When you were talking about the oil and how the oil stops pouring, I've done that. So it's like, okay, cool. If you just focus on this and you just stay over here with it, the distractions they don't even matter. Coach, thank you. I appreciate it.
Because you'll get to the point where winning is more important than anything else. Winning is more important than a distraction. Winning is more important than you giving somebody a piece of your mind. Winning is more important than gossiping. Winning is more important than crying. Winning is more important. You just get so fixated and focused on winning. You're like, it's victory only, victory always. It's always up. I'm not going to stop this oil pouring because you got a problem. I'm not going to stop this oil pouring because it's raining. I'm not going to stop this. There is nothing better than winning. There's nothing better than peace. When you win, hey, Gavin, did you win your game? Yeah, I won. You don't got to explain nothing when you win. You only got to explain when you lose. There ain't no issue when you win, right? So when you pick something that is most important to you and nothing else will matter, and when you winning all the time, all that other stuff don't matter. You see it, but you like, so what? I'm not stopping this oil pouring for nobody and for nothing. So if you want to do it, go right on ahead. But this oil still gonna keep pouring. So then what you do don't matter. So if it don't matter, I'm not gonna take my attention off of what does, right? Because can't nothing stop you, right? You are the author and finisher of your faith. You are declaring decree. You are, not anyone else is, not they are, not it is. So let the dead bury the dead. It's been nice to know you, nice to talk to you, but I'm pouring this oil. So unless you helping or unless you got some jars, keep it pushing. That's it, right? Wonderful.
Side note, Coach Lucky, we actually did win our game 10-0. I went 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a triple. So just, speak. You were there, but you weren't there. So
that's it.
That was fire. That's
the way it's supposed to be. You tell yourself, I'm the best player. I always see the ball well. I always hit the ball hard. I always hit it, and nobody can never get it. Like whatever you tell yourself is true, is true. Like you guys have no idea of how unlimited you are, of how literally you can put yourself into anything. You can literally be anything. Literally, you're that unlimited. That's why I keep trying to up here sweating every Saturday, telling you, like I'm sweating over here, I'm sweating at my house, I'm sweating everywhere, right? Because I'm so impassioned. I want you to know you can tell yourself anything. Like I make money whether I show up or not. I'm healthy, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. Everybody loves me. I'm always chosen and preferred and prioritized by everyone and everything. I always have favor everywhere I go. It ain't because of them or they or it. They're just the thing I use to show what I believe myself to be true. Right? So it's always up and it's always on. Wonderful.
Last thing, just wanted to also add on. I related with the whole speaking your truth and telling yourself because when I would go to hit, like there are videos and photos of me just like before I step in the box, I would look at my bat and there was a dude named Tobias Motley. He's a D1 baseball player at Rice University. He would say, look at the bat, talk to the bat, tell the bat to hit the ball, and then see yourself hit the ball. So there have been several situations where I'm hitting, and in baseball terms, an 0-2 count is where you have no balls, 2 strikes. So you basically on your last leg here. So, and there would be several times where I'm in that situation, and I would just be like, just make contact, see yourself make contact, and I would swing as hard as I can, or I'd make decent contact, and the ball would just fly because I would tell myself to do that, and I would see I am hit the ball. So I mean, it's kind of proof in the pudding when you really think about it. It's like a mentality thing. And it's crazy how I apply it in baseball and how I've been so successful to, have a 380 batting average just off of just telling myself and seeing myself and manifesting myself to hit the ball, whether it's an out, whether it's a ground ball, just seeing myself hit that and being more consistent with it, despite me facing 95, which was crazy. But I mean, nah, it does work. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because that's been helping me in my journey with baseball. So
It helps with anything because the law is the law. The truth is the truth. That's why I say we're always doing it. There's no delineation. There's no, well, it works for this, but not that. Well, it works 8 to 5. It said the law is the law. It ain't no job. It don't have no office hours. It ain't no holidays, right? It is what it is, wherever it is. It's always up and it's always on. That's a star on top of the tree. This is not emotional. This is not spiritual. This is the truth. And as soon as you get a hold of it, you'll be free. And whatever area you apply the truth, you'll always be free. So that's right. Hit it. I had a .038 batting average in Little League. So that's why I quit. That ball was coming too hard, too fast. I said, oh no, not for your boy here. I didn't even care if I got a hit. I just hoped I didn't get hit. That's when you know it's not for you. You see? So I went to basketball and I did much better in basketball. So that's awesome, man. Good. Keep up the good work. Whatever you tell yourself is true, is true. There's no area of life that's not the case. So
thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Yes.
Coach Lucky.
Oh man, what's up? There he is. The man.
I had to tap in with you, man, because I've been on YouTube watching you every week, man. But you know, I'm a little late, you know, but I just wanted to hop on here and just let you know that I've been tapped in, and you know, I'm grateful for you, man. You've unlocked things and ideas that, you know, I wouldn't be able to get to the different places that I'm going without some of these frameworks, you know, and it's the law, you know, and trying to understand that, you know, like I watched this video last night and he was talking about, like, you know, in my country, we're wealthy because I'm a citizen of heaven. You know, I'm not from wherever I'm from. You know, that's, you know, that's not who I am. You know, that's not who my father is. And it just started making me think, like, about a lot of the stuff you be saying, and I'm like, man, it is so true. Like, we create our own reality. You know, we look in the mirror and we see our reflection. We can't change the mirror to change how we look. We have to change what's going on in here to change that reflection. And it's just been like, I don't know, some light bulbs going off. And when I started to, you know, like, because I caught myself in a bad season for a second, and I had to remember who I am.
Yes, sir.
And I had to start talking to myself again. You know what I mean? And within days, things started to change. You know, deals started to close, you know, checks started coming in, you know, because I'm gonna be honest, I was upset because I'm like, where is my tax return? Like, you know, like and then I called them and they said, if you don't get it in 120 days, you know, give us a call. I'm like, what? You know, so I'm getting all upset and emotional about that. And then, like, when I finally let go of that, like, oh, this deal's under contract, you know, this deal is happening, this is going through, this guy, you know, and it was like, I'm focusing on the wrong things right now, you know, because I know who my father is. But I've been tapping in, you know, favorite YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, get notified every time he goes live. Because honestly, it's just, you know, I'm on YouTube so much that, like, every time you go live, I'm just watching. So, or if I miss it, I just go catch up. So appreciate you, appreciate Vero, love the community, love everything you're doing, Coach. Keep going strong.
Hey, man, appreciate you. It's good to see you, man. Tell the family I said hello, especially my boy Jeremiah. You know, tell him I said, what's up, man?
I'm going to. He always asks about you. He's like, where's Coach Lucky? Or if I watch you on YouTube, he'll be trying to say hi. I'm like, he can't hear you, bro.
man,
So,
man, I can hear him, man. Stop hating. Man, I can hear him. That's my boy, man. We on the same thing. It's my boy. That's why I asked about it. That's why he can hear me. I can hear him. It's my boy. Oh, man, good to see you, bro. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else before I let you go?
Awesome as always. I really do appreciate it. This is a very exciting time.
See, Sarita, look, I
Hi,
told
Coach
you
Lucky.
right there. There.
I see.
Jeremiah, that's it. My boy, dang, got big.
Yeah, he's big
Right.
now.
That's right. See, I told you, man,
Well,
stop hating. Told you, my boy.
I'm
Rick Taylor.
4.
That's right. That's right. Look at that, Justin. Respect it. 4 years old. Respect it. Good to see you, brother.
all right.
All right. All right. So I'm sorry, Sarita. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying this right here, this community, this all of the things that I hear and that I'm learning from you. It's almost like the shades have come off and everything starts coming in that type of form. Nothing else is welcome. Only the things that I want comes, and it happens every day. I wake up in the morning and say, show me all of the great things, all of the beautiful things that life can bring. So yes, this is, and it comes, it just comes. And this right here community really, really, really sets the standard in the bar. So thank you.
Hey, every time I think about the mail, I think of you now. Every time I think about the mail, I'll be like, them checks of them. Yeah, every time.
I'm on my way to the mailbox, so let's go get that check.
That's it. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Glad to have you here always. All right. Vanessa, I don't know where you are, if you're available. If not, okay, I'll sign us off.
Here.
Okay.
I'm here. Thank you everyone for coming. Great call as always. And again, Saturdays are just like the surface. We really like make the shifts in the youth circle. Like you mentioned it a couple times. I know Auntie Shaky mentioned it as well when we're talking about, the call, or I said the WhatsApp group. We're talking about the youth circle. Secret, just for everyone that's here, I'm now here in Puerto Rico living my best life. I haven't had the opportunity to raise the price like I was going to on the first. So listen, I'm gonna give you till tonight. You got till tonight because I gotta drive to my Airbnb. Just in case you've been thinking about joining, take advantage. And so we meet twice. We meet Tuesdays and Fridays, and then you get a one-on-one with Coach Lucky, and that's really where you really start making the changes and shifting, because you get that one-on-one work. But so that's it. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Coach Lucky, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Yes,
you all have a great weekend. And
Can you drop the link real quick again?
Oh, okay. So I'm driving. It's the mental.academy, and then /you should take you to the youth circle.
Yeah, and just lastly is kind of like Justin was talking about, like where's my my check? Like, that is what I mean when I talk about the flow of favor. Like, expect favor for everything. So when you see favor, when you see something good happen to you, like, capture it in your mind and take it with you to the next thing. Start expecting it. So when you're writing your bills, expect favor. When you're driving into work, expect favor. When you're showering, expect favor. Whatever favor could be in that environment. Sometimes a lot of times you don't, but the favor will show up. It will show up in ways you can't. You'll have the best shower you ever had, or the water will stay hotter than it's ever been, or colder than it's ever been. It'll be in every way, in every thing in life. There's favor available, right? There's perfection available. There's victory available. And so you claim your perfection, your favor, and your victory in everything. And so you consciously, that's the effort to make. It's just to consciously choose and define and describe everything as perfect and favorable and, just perfect and favorable and to you in every way, and take that with you into everything. Take that expectation, because that expectation becomes your experience. That's what's forming your experience, right? So you tell yourself, man, everything, you always have favor. You're always perfect. Everything is always working out for you. And you keep that oil pouring, and you just don't let anything take you off your attention. You just throw whatever would have got your attention into the flavor pot, right? Into the favor pot, into the perfect pot, into the victory pot. You take everything, don't go to it, bring it to you and throw it in there and let it conform to what you said it is. Don't conform to it, make it conform to you, right? Everything in your world is perfect. You have favor in everything. You have the victory in everything. And you see, and everything you see, you bring it into that. I define it as that. I see it as that. I say it as that. That's all it is. I don't care what it looks like. It ain't that. It's what I say it is. And you will see every time how it shows up to be perfect, victory, and favor every time, right? So awesome. Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It's always good to see you all individually and collectively. Have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful weekend. Happy Easter to all of you guys celebrated in whatever ways. Happy Easter. And thank you all for coming, and see you all next week.
Thanks, Coach.